All right. Hey guys, this is Icewind, and I'm going to be showing a tutorial for Black Toad Skip. So this is the trick that's done at the end of the prologue, and it saves about a minute. The trick can be a little finicky, so if you are struggling with it, don't worry too much if you're new. You can kind of just do the normal strat, uh, but it is a nice time save, so it's definitely worth learning. So the first thing we need to do is we need this green toad. He walks back and forth randomly. We need him to be stopped on this side, on the right. And what we're going to do is we're going to spin into him and we're going to hammer. So I made that look a lot easier than it is sometimes, but um, when he's fully stopped here, you just spin down. And then when you are perfectly even with him, you use hammer to push yourself out of bounds. So if you don't get it, you can kind of just mash, spin, and hammer again. If he starts walking back to the left, you'll have to wait for him. But this part is pretty simple. If you don't get it, just kind of try it again. This is one of those things where you kind of just get the timing as you do it more. But I'll do it one more time. So wait for him to stop. You just spin down, and then when you're pretty much even with him, you hammer, and you should be out of bounds here. So when you're here, you can pretty much walk perfectly along the vertical axis and you're fine. You want to line up Mario in a specific spot. Be careful not to go too far down. If you go too far down, you will actually clip back in bounds. So just be careful of that. That's one easy way that you can fail the trick. So I'm going to wait for him to come back again. If he turns around immediately, you actually can get the clip, but I believe it's frame perfect. I don't exactly remember. But yeah, basically you just want to do that. You can kind of just keep spinning down until you get the clip. So the next thing we want to do is we need to line up Mario in a specific spot. What I look for is Mario's shoe. So the orange part of Mario's shoe, like the very bottom. I don't know if my cursor is captured. Yeah, my cursor is captured here. So this part right here, I have that just barely below like the edge of this white line here, or this like little ledge here. So you kind of want Mario's like orange part like just barely a little bit below the shoot the white. So let's see if sorry, it's kind of so right about there. And so then what you're going to do is you're going to do a hammer buffer. So just press B to do a hammer. And then while Mario is hammering, you want to hold full right. So, and then after you've fallen, so after you've held full right and you start the fall, you can just let go of the joystick. So I have the input display here. So you're just going to want to have it look like this and let go. So if you did it correctly, you should end up here inside the corner of the house, like so. There are a couple things that can go wrong, so I'll show you what two other possibilities that might happen. So if you are slightly too high, so let's say you're like about here, and you do it, you're actually going to respawn back at the ledge. So it's better to be slightly too high. The only downside here is that your lineup is now a lot harder because you can't really see Mario's foot. You could try to tap slightly to the left, but it is really easy to clip back and bounds like that. But if you are slightly too high, you can tap down and try to get your lineup again. Okay, wow, okay. If you end up being too low, like let's say you're down here, this will actually make you clip back and bounce, so you'll be oh, that actually worked. Wow, that's surprising. Let me see if I can make it back. I don't know if I can. Yeah. So if you end up going too low, like let's say you're, as far down as here, then this will make you clip back and bounce. So if you kind of like see Mario like jut to the left slightly and you don't clip, it means you were actually slightly too low. So if that happens, you'll have to come back and clip and bounce again. Okay, thank you. This toad is completely random. Oh my god, 4 turnarounds. So if you get unlucky, that, you do kind of have to like take the time loss a little bit, but that is kind of what happens sometimes. So again, we're going to hammer and then hold right and then let go, and we will end up right here in the corner. So this next part is probably the hard part of the trick. and I'll try to explain it the best I can. But what you want to do is you're going to start by doing a spin, and then while you're spinning, you're going to start holding up, do a full jump, and then roll from up to upright and then to right. It's kind of a fast roll. It is a little hard to fully explain and to get a feel for, but if you watch the input display, that'll be really helpful. You kind of want to try to mimic that. But basically, you're going to spin, and then you're going to do a jump, up, upright, right, kind of one motion. So it would look something like this. And so from here, you can actually continue holding right. So I did that correctly, and so if you do it correctly, then you should have Mario. Your camera should look like this, and if you do a hammer and hold right, you'll fall off immediately like that, and you will respawn back here. That's fine. This is the slightly slower way to do it. This is by doing one extra fall, and I'll show how to do it with the with one fewer fall, which is a little bit faster, but this is definitely the safer method. But from there, yeah, do that motion and then hold full right. And if you keep holding right, you'll eventually respawn and fall again. And so when you see Mario fall again, you can let go and get back here. From here, this last part's really easy. What you want to do is you want to do another hammer buffer and then hold down right, and then roll to down pretty quickly, not too fast, but not slow either. And so it's gonna look something like this. So you're gonna hammer, hold down right, and then roll to down, and you should end up right here. If you keep holding down, you'll be right here. That's pretty much the entire trick. Again, it does take some getting used to. You have to get a feel for how to roll the stick and the timing of the up, right. So I'll do it one more time. So you line up here, hammer, hold right, let go. From here, spin, hold up, roll to right, and then you can keep holding right. I see that Mario has fallen again. I can let go, hammer, down right, down, and I end up right here. So if you after you do the motion from the post office, the up, right, right, there are a couple things that can happen. One thing that can happen is you can actually just immediately clip back in bounds. If that happens, so let's see if I can do that. Sorry. I guess I should be using the save location button, but that is my mistake. So if you accidentally say clip back in bounds like that, it means that you didn't hold up for long enough. So the purpose of holding up is for Mario to maneuver out of bounds, and then so that he doesn't clip back in bounds like that. So you can kind of get around that by doing either a longer up or by doing a higher jump, so you get more upwards motion. But that's a common thing that people can have trouble with. Another thing that can happen is you can sometimes do the fall, and then you will end up, Mario will respawn back over in the post office. If you respawn back in the post office, that usually means that you either held up or upright for too long. And what happens is you miss the seam, you actually overshoot it a little bit, and so Mario will respawn back at the post office. And then another common thing that can happen is you can actually have Mario end up back in bounds here. That's a kind of more rare one, but I have seen it happen. But that probably means that you went to you didn't do enough up to upright. You kind of went to full right a little bit too quickly, potentially. It's hard to say exactly what caused problems, but or it might be that you didn't hold right for long enough. It could be anything like that, but it is hard to say. Again, I would highly recommend trying to watch the input display. That is surprisingly might be one of the easiest ways to understand how to fully do the motion. So the last thing about this trick that I'm going to show really quick. Okay. Okay, the toad is not being nice to me. So if you want to do the trick slightly faster, it's a little too high. Sorry. There we go. Something you can do is you can actually do one fewer fall. So what I was doing is I was holding full right, which made Mario land on the seam and then immediately fall off. And then from there you could let go, and then you could get a easier down right to down angle. You can actually combine this motion from the post office to the Toad House with the last fall. And so the way you want to do that is after during the fall here where you're holding right, after Mario shoots back up, then you can immediately start the down right to down motion, so you don't have to respawn and hammer. And so that would look, again, watch the input display to kind of get an understanding of it, but that would look something like this. Mario shoots up, down, down right, or down right, down, and you actually do that all as two falls instead of doing it as a third. So that is Black Toad Skip. Definitely a trick that a lot of people struggle with early. It's pretty finicky, especially if you're not too used to the out of bounds mechanics in Paper Mario. But yeah,